People over 30, which body aches do you have? Story 1. None of them. I go to the gym regularly. I don't try to push through injuries. I use weights and routines I feel comfortable with. I try to get enough sleep, and I don't work a manual labor job. Story 2. My lower back from having birthed kids. Update. This is both from pregnancy late in life and picking them up once they were born. They get heavy so fast. Sore moms, I feel you. Story 3. 44 here. Nothing really. Some lower back stuff if I tax it on a bike ride or at the gym. Sometimes shoulder issues when I sleep. All in all, pretty lucky. Story 4. A couple of years ago, I got injured and decided to make it a habit to move my body every day. Nothing extreme, just sustainable lifestyle changes. I've never felt better. I don't have any constant pain like I used to. Story 5. Every morning, something which didn't ache the night before now aches. Oh, and there are at least 2 new bruises about the origins of which I know absolutely nothing. Story 6. None. I'm thankful every day for how mobile I am. I heard the reason old people move slow is because everything hurts. I do cardio and weight training 4 days a week just so I can try to maintain what I've got. Story 7. Bad cartilage in right knee 58. I usually have to take 4 Advils to get around. I was a valet for years in the start. Stop motion did the damage. Story 8. I'm 42 next week, and nothing really. I've always been very agile and fidgety. I still run up and down stairs, still sit with my knees up or like I did at school. I've most likely caused internal damage from smoking, but not feeling it yet. Story 9. I do a lot of working out and literally everything hurts constantly. Gymnastics is not good if you have multiple torn ligament tendons, and yet I keep coming back almost 40. Story 10. 35. I got tendonitis in my right thumb from doing nothing of note. Woke up one morning and it just hurt. Now I'm wearing a brace. My feet hurt on hard floors if I'm not wearing some sort of shoe slipper. My hip clicks when I walk up a slight grade. My lower back always hurts. Story 11. Back pain. Horrible, horrible back pain. I joke with my GF that it's only a matter of time before I'm that guy I'm 39 yelling at kids to get off my lawn. Funny enough, I've done it once already but had a good reason for it. And it was more of a get off my property, purely for liability reasons. Story 12. None. Meaty diet, lift weights in the gym, and run frequently training for another race in the fall. I also love riding bikes and swimming too. I am religious with my sleep regimen. Story 13. I exercise regularly and eat my veggies and protein. Overall, I don't have too much pain. Just one knee that sometimes complains a bit, and now some hip pain. But I'm pretty sure that's from the baby. Hoping that will clear up after birth lol. Story 14. I'm actually in decent shape, and I have taken a ton of damage in wrestling and MMA and laboring. Some of you guys should be a little concerned with the laundry lists. I'm hearing. Story 15. None on a regular basis. I'm 62 and have exercised almost daily for my entire life. Keeps me ahead of the aches. I have gotten a minor injury here and there, but nothing that has kept me away from the gym for long. Keep moving every day if possible, but don't get carried away and overdo it. Story 16. Currently, hip flexors from sitting at my desk job and not taking breaks or stretching throughout the day, then immediately proceeding to the gym to lift heavy weights. Story 17. I need to make sure my feet are bent before I sneeze. Otherwise, I can throw my back out. A few months back, I was running my dogs, and my feet forgot how to operate. My foot just assumed the ground was about 5 inches higher than it really was. So I ate, and my dogs looked at me like I was an idiot man-child. Story 18. Knees and ankles. Whenever it's getting ready to storm old injury, or if I sit for a while without moving around shoulder whenever I sleep wrong. Lower back. If I spend a lot of time hunched over, like when I am working on a car or something. Neck. If I have to sleep sitting up without a pillow or something to keep my head from tilting at a weird angle. Basically, getting on an airplane is pure torture for me. I am already too tall and overweight, so I am essentially up for a day after a flight. Story 19. I developed PVD in my right eye recently. It's like constantly seeing something in the corner of my eye. I've read it's common after 50. I just turned 50 last December. Like, couldn't this have waited a little longer? Story 20. My ankle is sorest often due to tearing my Achilles a couple years ago. Sometimes when it's really cold outside my knee that I hyperextended as a kid will ache. And of course my back sometimes is sore depending on how I sleep. Can't complain too much about my mortal shell, but I'm pretty close to 30. Story 21. Knees are permanent. Back is intermittent. Feet and hips are frequent. Other random pains are possible at any time. And that's all without the issues from the brain damage. Story 22. My feet are always hurting. I'm on my feet a good amount of the day, but if I sit down for a while then stand up, I'm hobbling around for a little while until it works itself out. Story 23. My left foot is really fussy due to nerve pain. My mid-back is intermittently really grumpy. My shoulders, particularly my right shoulder, is touchy still from my having broken my right arm last year. Story 24. My back more than anything else. All of my teen years and 20s have caught up to me in the form of arthritis in my spine, a bulging disc, scoliosis, and stenosis. Story 25. At 74, body aches quite often. 3-4 afternoons and evenings a week. Feels like you worked out kind of feeling. 800 milligram Advil, and an hour later I feel much better. Story 26. I'm weak down my entire left side. No thanks to multiple sclerosis. My left leg twitches a lot at night, meaning I don't get much or decent sleep. My leg goes numb when I stand for more than 15 minutes, and most days the soles of my feet feel like they're on fire. Quite a few aches. Story 27. Slipped a disc in my lower back a couple times in my mid-late 20s. Still need to be careful to avoid slipping it again. Had some PT and try to keep the muscles strengthened, but it flares up from time to time. My ankles have always been trash, but I had surgery to fix the left one back in 2022. It always took the worst of the injuries, so very much needed. My right has had some problems, but is largely in better shape than my left used to be. Have TMJ now too, so always a little paranoid that the disc in my jaw might shift again, but wear a mouthguard to bed every night since clenching my jaw is what caused the issue in the first place, and haven't had problems since the original incident. Story 28. Nothing really. I'm nearly 40 with 2 kids and I suppose my shoulders are from rubgy but no pain. Maybe I'm not as full of energy, but I think the next 10 years will be more telling. Story 29. Knees, from time to time. Lower back every so often. Shoulder when I lift too much too many times. Dislodged rib that aches when the weather changes. But I also played rugby for a decade, so there's that. Story 30. Right knee. No idea. Left forearm muscle. Picked up my son once. Felt a pop, hasn't been right since. Doing anything with pulling feels like I'm going to tear the muscle off the bone. But mama didn't raise a quitter, so I keep pulling. Story 31. My hip decides to be inflamed for 2 weeks out of nowhere. It hurt like I was in bed writhing in pain. My parents got ibuprofen, muscle cream, and pain patches. Story 32. Osteoarthritis at 59 years old. Started when I was about 54. Knees, shoulders, back, basically all joints. I work out a lot and have lost 120 lub since it began, so I cope with it well. But it is a constant source of chronic pain. Story 33. My right shoulder has been killing me for a while now. No idea why. Also, if I squat down for anything, getting back up is a nightmare, like my knees are frozen. Am 30. Story 34. My knee aches if I sit too long, especially on long flights, but generally, I'm pretty ache-free. The knee pain comes from a degenerative meniscus tear years ago. I started working out again so I can keep my muscles strong, and daily stretching also helps. Story 35. Left rotator cuff that PT didn't really fix. Back separate issues in the lumbar, thoracic and cervical areas, knees, and more recently fingers. Also TMJ and chronic migraines, but I believe those are related to posterior chain issues, COVID, and concussions. Story 36. Back cause him fat and sit in a chair all day. Arm from bowling last night. Wrist from installing something in a server rack that had a really tight screw. Neck cause I slept wrong. Cause I ate spicy food. Getting old sucks. If I was in shape though, it wouldn't be this bad. So it's partly my own fault. All of them. Story 37. So, at 35 I have a bad back. Not constantly, but it's only ever a matter of time before it hurts again. A painful shoulder which aches when I lie down and which I can't move fully. An ankle that I twisted like 2 years ago and which hasn't been right since. I think the key issue as we get older is that things just don't heal as quickly. A minor stumble which would have caused a day or so of discomfort in my teens now results in pain that lasts for months. Story 38. Let me see here. T5 T6 disc bulging can cause breathing problems, hurts to stand or sit for too long as well. Also can affect shoulder on left side. Left elbow sometimes pinches a nerve and will lock when straightened completely due to an overextension and dislocated elbow. Torn sacroiliac joint in left lower back can cause spine to be crooked, takes a medical professional to straighten, and then 3 to 5 days to recover. 7 to 10 days without the straighten. Right knee, no ACL, 3 meniscus tears, no cartridge. Depends on the day and minute. Only another 10 years, and I can get approved for surgery for a replacement. Right ankle, completely shattered at one point. Got a tendon that pops over my ankle joint if I cut to the left too fast. It's okay the first 1 or 3. After that, it hurts every time. Right hand, shattered knuckles, only hurts when it seizes up, and I can't open my hand for a few minutes. Oh yeah, my skull has a massive crack down it from 2 different incidents. One was a baseball bat. Causes migraines and light sensitivity issues. Pain level if I know I've lived with most of it for 20 years. Story 39. Finished med school and residency with countless body aches, most notably neck and back. Started lifting after I put together a lil home gym, got a steady routine, and now all the aches have faded. Occasionally, though, ill sleep wonky and wake up with a crick in my neck for a few hours, which is a new 30s development. Story 40. My back is always slightly sore, My shoulders as well are always tense and sore. Sometimes my hips hurt when I first stand up. That started happening after having kids. Story 41, left nut, cyst and a scrotal pearl. Lower back, degenerated discs, shoulder, elbow, and wrist. 28 years bricklaying. Knee, because I'm fat. Heart, because BPD. Story 42. Well, I just turned 30, and I'm not sure if having extreme health anxiety for the last month and a half gave me arthritic symptoms, or if I actually have an autoimmune arthritis. So all of the aches, I suppose. Story 4336. Currently dealing with damage and tendinitis in left Achilles. Plantar fasciitis left side. Coming out of 3 years of back pain and hip dysfunction. Shooting pains on inside of both knees. Right shoulder pain due to subluxation in shoulder and weak back muscles. Tendinitis right wrist due to repetitive motions and impacts. I'm really trying hard to strengthen, but often the tendinitis flares up before I reach muscle exhaustion. Alternating between super fast-paced kitchen work and couch-locked computer gaming was not the good balance I thought it was. Story 44. Knees for sure. But I had 2 knee surgeries before I was 20, so I earned it. Since I turned 60, my hands have gone too. I remember my dad complaining about arthritis in his hands at about this age, so I guess I got it naturally. Story 45. All of them, but I have a couple of chronic conditions that cause it. I think my back will always hurt though because my high school backpack weighed like 50 lbs. Story 46. Hips. And I found out 6 months ago I have arthritis in both hips. I'm 38 and been a runner for the last 15 years. It sucks so bad, especially when it's cold. Story 47. I have joint pains in my hands and elbows. I've been having it since I had my second child 2 years ago. It got a butt better, but apparently, it's a side effect of pregnancy and will never completely go away. Story 48. Bro, I used to be able to play basketball with guys half my age, then walk around with aching knees all day. Thought it was normal, just ignored it. But then it hit me. My body's not what it used to be. Now I always stretch before any activity, otherwise I'm screwed later. Story 49. I remember back in my 20s I could hit some crazy workout and bail before the cool down, or sit at my computer all day without breaks. Totally fine. But once I hit 30, everything changed. Now those same habits leave me with a sore back, stiff neck, and muscles like wood. Story 50. My knees start aching if I sit too long, especially on planes. That's pure hell. It's all because I tore my meniscus a couple years back. Had to get back into sports to keep my muscles strong. And I do stretches every day now. It really helps. Story 51. Somewhere. After 30, I noticed my body started reacting differently to everything. I can wake up with killer neck pain just because I slept wrong. Never had that crap when I was younger. Story 52. I work as a nurse, constantly have to lift patients and stand in awkward positions. My back is killing me. Finally learned to ask colleagues for help instead of playing hero and doing everything myself. Story 53. After the kids came along, my back totally went to hell. When the little one's playing on the floor, I can't just bend over and pick him up anymore. Gotta squat down. And carrying him in a baby carrier. That's a whole other story. My back hums afterwards. Story 54. Started noticing that the simplest things can cause pain. Talked on the phone, holding it to my ear. Neck hurts. Sorted laundry on the floor. Lower back aches. Even walked around the house barefoot. And I feel that too. Realized my body's just not as tough anymore. Story 55. Dude, time just flies after high school. Feels like January just happened and it's already summer. And along with that came all these aches that never existed before. Story 56. My doctor explained it to me. By 30-40, your joints are worn enough to start hurting. It's not like there's a specific age when bam, you wake up with pain. You just start noticing your joints more than when you were a kid. Story 57. Recently realized I recover super slowly now. What would have passed in a day back in school can now hurt for months. Turn wrong, and that's it. You can forget about normal life for a couple weeks. Story 58. Notice that both desk work and intense workouts are equally tough now. Lower back, shoulders, knees. Everything started hurting more often after 30. Had to rethink my training approach. Story 59. I'm a programmer. Sit at the computer all day, then go straight to the gym to pump iron. Result: constant hip flexor and lower back pain. Realized I need to stretch and move during the day, not sit like an idiot for 8 hours straight. Story 60. I'm 34. Recently learned that as we age, we have less collagen and elastin. Those are what keep our bodies firm. We get weaker, lose endurance, so our bodies have to work harder to stay in shape.